Spider-Man, and then Avowed is going to show up, and like, I'll just
Right.
beat that. Like Fallout 4 is in the corner, like looking at me. It's like, what is it?
Right.
Why? Like, I'm not even like a quarter done.
Yeah.
Keep doing side missions.
You know what I need? A big, meaty RPG. That's what I need right now.
Starfield enters the chat. It's like, hey, remember when you played me for a while?
Yeah. Okay. Remember those couple hours of streaming? Can you come
Yeah.
back? Thanks.
Oh man. So it continues. See, it's almost a welcome. The restraint is almost a relief in the sense that it's like, well, looks great, but I can't touch it. What a
Yeah.
shame. Days Gone is going to piss me off now. Now that I think about it, like motorcycles, especially right now, Canadian winter, I'm really missing my bike, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's just give me a little taste until
Yep.
like the nice weather shows up.
It's true. I mean, we'll see where it goes.
maybe it's a bad game. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. How's my levels there? Let me go up a little bit. Test. Ha! Funny jokes.
Perfect.
Absolutely ideal. All right, let's get the old poem up and we'll get started because we are live. I'm trying to think, do I do poem first or do I do the adult beverages are poured? I'm trying to think what I've been doing that recently.
Well, how does it work? Like from last episode, I think it went right into the
I think
poem.
I think poem starts and then like I launch into the
Yeah.
Okay. Because then I cut my dad's version of it in. Messing up right at the beginning. Gotta get those flubs out of the way. All right, we'll hit it up though because we are we are live. Another dad falls to the Steam Deck allure. League of Legends, not a dad game, but a good TV show. Damn. Like I've been so good these previous weeks. Nailed it live.
You almost had it.
Almost had it. Stumbled a bit. Let's hit it again. Another dad falls to the Steam Deck allure. League of Legends, not a dad game, but a good TV show? Sure. Why make a remaster when the old doesn't suck and good choices get promoted with a promise of V-Buck? Welcome to New Dad Gaming. The adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Each week, we try to show that just because you became a dad
does not mean it's game over.
And my favorite thing to talk about here, we adore talking to the fans. Like anybody who's been with us here on this podcast for a while, reach out to us, tell us your stories at New Dad Gaming, newdadgaming.com. And a great one for this week, and one that's going to be really near and dear to your heart, Jeff, is a listener, a fan of the show, is joining the Steam Deck Brigade.
Yay!
So this listener wrote in, again, good friend of the show, Benjamin Ryan. They wrote in stating that they were starting to consider a gaming PC. You know, they generally find that they enjoy consoles more, but between different dynamic in the household, cool games on PC, like some like awesome like online multiplayer stuff, it just started to appeal to them. What if I could get a gaming PC?
Yeah. Okay.
And, they're asking, you've mentioned on the show having a couple, like what's kind of your take? And when everything was laid out, like it started to dawn on me that's like, what might actually work better for you is a Steam Deck.
Okay.
Because again, like youngish kids, I need to kind of move around the household, like kind of like night gaming, things like that. So and just the complication of setting up a PC. It's not the end of the world. Like dads, you can handle it, but generally it's a more difficult thing. And for somebody from console, for me, the Steam Deck seemed to perfectly just kind of fit in that band. And it's like less than $500 right now.
Yeah, and well, if you do it now, tax free, before tomorrow.
So you got to do it now. You see the impetus. That's just like fiscal responsibility right there.
That's right. No, that's a great. I'm glad you become the spokesperson for Steam Deck. And this Benjamin Ryan seems like good people. So yeah, the Steam Deck just seems to fit the bill. Again, all these episodes have great experiences with the Steam Deck, and what it can do and what you can
Mhm.
kind of tweak and mod into it. It's a fun little console slash PC
Mhm.
that I've had a great time with, and I'm running like some really intense games. And I heard even just Avowed got tested for it,
Mhm.
and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 runs spectacular on it. So it can run the newish
Wow,
games.
really? Huh.
It's just like you have to, manage your expectations a bit. It's not going to be on ultra high, but obviously on medium settings, it runs pretty fluid from what I've seen, which to me is just a testament to the developers saying, "Hey, this is a viable platform, and we want people to play it on the go.
Hmm.
So
Now they
jump on in."
so I'm curious, like with that, from my conversation with Benjamin and Ryan, they didn't seem all that concerned with top tier, the absolute like biggest like graphics, right? But my general assumption would be, and like this, like I need your take on this, is if it's in that smaller form factor,
Yeah,
like inches from your face, just kind of like sitting on your lap as you're playing it, it feels as though medium settings would be more than adequate. Because if you're not blasting it to like a 70-inch like OLED television set, it
right,
would almost seem like, ultra settings is kind of wasted on the smaller dynamics. Like so, like, and you have a PS5, so you have high capability, powerful rendering.
yeah.
Like, what is that dichotomy like as far as like being able to see the absolute latest gen powerful gaming rendering as opposed to medium settings on a Steam Deck? Like, what as a gaming dad, like, what's that looking like?
Yeah, I will agree with you there that, those medium settings on that screen absolutely does the trick.
Hmm.
I hardly ever dock the Steam Deck and play full screen, only when I want to play some multiplayer games with the kids, but they're usually pretty cartoony in nature and not too much of a stressor. But I beat a few games on PS5 streaming to my Steam Deck. So like the fidelity and graphical quality, like it is just so much more
Hmm.
condensed on the screen. Obviously, you're gonna love it. Like it's nothing to um like it's not gonna like interrupt your gameplay at all. But yeah, I usually play everything undocked, mobile, even the Switch. To be honest, I don't really dock that too much.
Hmm.
But yeah, all those settings completely doable on that little screen, especially if you get the OLED version, which is something that I'm dying to get. And I missed out on as an early adopter, but
Hmm.
for
So
this
I wish
person.
you hadn't said that. I recommended the LCD.
Oh, did you? No, like
It was
honestly,
it was a pricing thing because like the for me that when I was looking at the pricing page, like there's something about
yeah,
and again like kind of real talk. Let me give you this like analogy. I've gone to IMAX movies, and for the first like 10 to 15 minutes, it is an unbelievable, massive, immersive experience.
right.
After that, it borderline could just be an iPhone in front of your face,
Hmm.
right? Because at some point, once you actually get invested in the thing that you're looking at, I find that those type of details go away. And unless you have constantly an OLED screen beside the
Right.
LCD to make the constant comparison, upon hour or minute 20 of gameplay, I don't feel you're really going to notice it.
No, if again, the LCD is also half the price, so it's very much worth it. And like you said, if you just have that in front of you and there's no comparison, it's gonna do the trick. You're gonna be blown away either way. And
Hmm.
if you're not so much into, those top tier games anyway,
Hmm.
I'm not saying that it's wasted, but I'm like, you're gonna play those games anyway on something
Yeah.
that does the trick, right? So absolutely, I'm welcoming this person into the Steam Decker brigade. Like that's amazing. I love it.
So exciting. Now that you did mention playing multiplayer games
Yeah.
with kids. So what is the current setup with the Steam Deck and the kids? Have they been allowed to hold the sacred brick to play it themselves, or is it very much a no, this is a dad thing, and you will stand a good 5 feet away from it at all times? Like,
Yeah.
what is the scenario in the house?
So my one rule.
I don't have many rules, Trevor.
You're
I
right.
just,
Yeah.
I don't take a lot from myself, but it's just
No.
one thing. Yeah.
See, you're on the right path. I don't have a lot that's just mine.
Hmm.
So I said the Steam Deck was dad's, but they got to play the games that I would allow them. Like, hey, you want to try this out? It comes
Hmm.
with a game pre-installed, so that's kind of cool. I let them play with it.
That's cool.
And that was probably the extent of it. So like They don't play any games on there, and they have their laptops anyway. They wouldn't want to, so it really like they're not begging to take it around, but it has
Mm,
been solely dads, and then multiplayer, you just hook up a PS4 or PS5 controller and you're playing on the screen. Like they don't have to touch it, right? It just kind of runs.
mm,
So they haven't really played too much with it, and
mm.
that is kind of been me, and also them having the option of their own PCs. So
Yeah, and I see it as the better freeing up of all others, where it's like, okay, so
yeah,
now you have greater agency over the rest of the consoles in the house. This is dad's. This is dad's domain. We leave this be.
yeah. Like again, primary, they will go on their computers. We'll play a multiplayer game together.
That's
So like
cool.
Age of Empires or something. I'll be on the deck. They'll be on their PCs, and we'll have a great time. So,
Yeah.
and I can move around and be in their like rooms and be like, "Hey, stop invading me!" So like,
Walk up behind them and just slap their heads or like unplug their internet. Just a classic. Hey,
Yeah.
so welcome to the Steam Deck family, Benjamin Ryan. Super excited to write in and like really happy we could chat. Otherwise, anyone else listening, again, like any gaming dad questions, any gaming dad stories, chatting with all you folks listening has been by far the best part of this podcast. So reach out to us at New Dad Gaming or newdadgaming.com. Now, one last quick story about Steam Deck. Apparently, you you had what you thought was an emergency with it being broken, but just turned out you had some bandwidth situations.
Yeah, so I have been limping along with this thing for probably a better part of a year, thinking that um so the version I got was only 64 gigs, so I expanded it with my SD cards.
Mhm.
And I thought that maybe I just got a crappy one. It was bottoming out. It was becoming slow. I was downloading these
Mm,
games, and the games nowadays are again 50 gigs plus, no
mm,
problem. So it would just take forever, and it would be at it for like 10 hours, slowly downloading and uploading. I'm like, it's got to be the card. And then I switched to the cards. I'm like, oh my God, it's like this deck itself. Like, I guess I'll just run this into the ground and see what happens. And then just life happened, and I had to upgrade my internet just because the contract's running out. So I had to do the whole song and dance and call in and be like, no, give me a better deal, whatever.
mhm.
And then they're like, okay, well, your bandwidth is like ancient. You're on like grandfather bandwidth. So like,
You're like,
uh,
excuse me? Like I don't have very fast. They're like, oh goodness, no, sir. I'm
right.
surprised you can even watch a movie. My God.
Yeah. And they're like, they ask you questions like, oh, how many devices? And I look at my Google Home, I'm like, I've got 32 devices at any one time running on this thing. So
It's like I got my fridge, I got my
yeah,
dishwasher, I got my
like everything.
car. Like,
Right.
oh
So
my
they
God.
hooked me up with way higher bandwidth, probably 10 times more than what I was doing, especially with the upload bandwidth.
Mm,
And then I went to download a game just like out of the blue, didn't even think. And the whole thing blazing fast. Like I was gaming in like 10 minutes,
mm.
not waiting hours. I'm like, that's what it was. I could have
This
fixed this so long ago.
is what the future feels like.
Yeah. And I am one to Google every issue, and I just never came across that bandwidth issue as something that was just pertained to me. I'm like, no, I got plenty of stuff. How would that like I would see when the kids go to bed, like it would, bump up or something, less devices. I thought more bandwidth. No, I was just maxed out, and the thing was just throttling itself into oblivion. So
I am surprised that the kids did not complain.
I am
Truly.
surprised too. Yeah.
It's like how like they must have known that something like ain't right. Like at some point they're trying to download and they're like screaming at you like, why is this taking 2 days? I can't believe you got away with this.
Well, the funny part is that most of the times it's Roblox, right? So they're they're not really
Yes.
downloading much, but they are like, there is that
Hmm,
upload download happening all the time, and maybe just their pings were high, and they're like, Dad, they would complain to me like, oh, sometimes I glitch out or something, or
mhm.
somebody says something, and I get it a second later. I'm like, welcome to the internet, like back in my day.
You shift the page of your newspaper, like good. Maybe you shouldn't be playing so much.
Yeah. So I just chalked it up to that, like, oh yeah, it's just your computer, the server, whatever. No, it was me and the bandwidth of the internet, and I should have been a little bit smarter on that one. But we won't tell them that until they listen to the show
Yeah.
much later on.
But they're not going to listen to the show, so you're fine.
No,
Just-
they got
oh,
like
sorry.
8 years
As
worth of
yeah,
episodes.
yeah. As adults, they'll look back fondly, perhaps, and see all
Yes,
the
yeah.
times we complained about our kids. Glad to hear you got it sorted out. I might need some more bandwidth in the house because the demand from Fortnite is probably going to go up because
Oh.
Jeff, despite all intentions, V-Bucks have
Whoa.
entered the house.
Whoa. Okay. What changed in a week?
Bribery, Jeff.
Okay.
Bribery.
Okay.
Good old fashioned bribery.
All right. All right.
All right. So V-Bucks have been, you know, I went eyes wide open. I suppose I had some hope that we'd be able to better fend off the allure there
The
is V-Bucks.
onslaught of V-Bucks. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
But I knew it was coming. It wasn't like, oh, there's no way they'll ever want them. However, like ultimately, it was still just like, we will deal with it, and this will be a nice way to like basically say no, you can't
Right.
have it. Now,
Okay.
what's happening is my oldest, despite his best intentions, like, or just that might be, I'll roll with that. Despite his best intentions, it said like he does not want to go to an upcoming scouts camp. He's in scouts, and he just doesn't want to go. We think it's hard to describe. We know he's going to have a good time. He's done this before and could not stop like screaming about what an amazing time he had, right?
Okay.
And there was just some sort of resistance, so we couldn't quite get around it. And eventually my wife in exasperation has said, fine, like if you go, I will buy you V-Bucks.
Okay.
And Jet, like that, his eye, like a cartoon from the 70s, his eyes fly out of his head, his jaw's like on the floor with his like tongue waggling out. And of course, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll go. That's great. So he's super excited about going now.
Yeah.
And and again, like there's things that I've said where it's like, all right, if you get like in school, they're on all 4 systems. It's from 1 through 4.
Right.
Like 1 is like fail, 4 is like perfect or whatever,
Yeah.
near perfect. And I've said it's like, all right, get all 4s in school. I'll let you play Fortnite during the week. Because if you're doing that well at school, like you have a handle on it. So
Yeah.
like fine, like that'll be like a reward for it, right? So we're good old fashioned bribery has broken us to allow V-Bucks to enter the home and the conversation. It's just I don't know if like you were shaking your head when I first mentioned we're going to try not to, and you're like, "Oh, dear sweet Trevor." There's
Oh, I for sure thought like, oh yeah, you think you're so strong now? Just wait, buddy. Like there's something there that you'll be like, you know what? It's like Santa Claus. Like you had to be good for Santa Claus. Well, Santa Claus brings V-Bucks. So how about that?
So that's anyway. So I don't know. Like, what's your? I'm trying to think. Like, have you purchased V-Bucks, or has it all been like Robux? Because yours are a
It
bit more into that side.
it has always been Robux,
Mm.
and I was the same as you and trying to resist it, but then, I didn't use it as a like a carrot for anything, but it was more like, okay, you don't necessarily because they don't get allowance, right? So that's
Mm.
something that we tried out, it didn't really work, so we stopped that and we did other things. But to teach them like the value of money, like, hey, you have this amount and it is, finite. This is what you get from, a birthday, Christmas, whatever, and you have to be responsible with it. Like if we find out you're, doing stupid things and trying to like bribe your friends to give you more
Mm.
Robux or something, that's going to be a problem. Anyway, we thought we were strong. It did not happen, especially when they get into like recess and kids and like again, birthday parties. Robux is always first priority. It used to be Lego at one point, but now it's Robux.
Mm.
And it's just the currency the kids talk in. So welcome, Trevor. You are just part of listen, look at the show's going great so far. We got Steam
Yeah.
Deck online. We got we got
got
V-Bucks coming in. I mean, what's next?
I'm trying to think what else. It would basically be like, oh, we both bought games and we broke
Yeah,
our
that's
like
true.
years
Yes.
practice. Thankfully, we haven't.
Yeah.
Gaming Dad staying strong here, so we do appreciate that. Yeah, I don't like I said it's almost I do. We both dislike the idea that like the only reason they'll ever do something good is for a reward. So we're trying to
Well,
find the right way to do it. But there's just, especially when there's just like it's like this is good for you. You are going to enjoy this, but there's just some batch of resistance that we cannot get through. So we're going to use this as the lever to like make it happen.
yeah, like, and I'm not totally against that. Like, I'm not some like high and mighty like I go to work, right? I would not go to work if I didn't get the
Go on.
money at the end. Right? Like the only thing that's keeping me there is that paycheck. So I'm sorry.
Mm,
Like that's the reward at the end. Some people, like and enjoy going to work, but like
mm,
I do not. And that carrot is the money. So it's just what it is. That's just the world we live
mm.
in. Everything is transactional. So why not have a little bit of fun with it? Like just go for it.
Yeah.
I hope they buy some cool costumes and then they play a match with you and you're in your generic stuff and you're like, well, I guess I gotta buy some V-Bucks.
It just it was worse. We played with they were playing with their cousins, which is also super cool. What I really like is that we've befriended the cousins on it, so they'll just on the weekend like just play together. So they'll be
Okay,
doing like
yeah,
threes
nice.
or fours. It's fun. That's awesome. But their cousins have some amazing skins.
Ooh.
Like they've been going at it for a while, but their collection is gorgeous. So they got some of these. So at one point they're kind of they're talking and they're cycling through all of them, and I'm watching them do it. I'm like, oh no, my kids will now know what's possible. Oh my, this isn't
Fashion
making it
show.
easier.
Fashion show. Yeah.
Oh, it was so
Uh,
cool. But
that's amazing.
yeah, gotta go figure. So I'm curious where it goes now because they have the next birthday. And
Ooh.
if they really want, if they want the like V-Bucks badly, like, do we push back against it? Because I will say they're also in this weird spot where you can't really, especially my oldest, like he's 9 turning 10. Like he can only have so many more Legos.
Oh yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
It's also like the amount of stuff we have in the house. Like I need less
Yes.
things.
Yes.
So there is almost this benefit to something that is purely digital that does not take up space in my home in
I
a
am
small.
with you 100%. We said no to Legos. It wasn't the kids. We were like, no, that's kind of done. We have enough around here. Like
It's enough.
anything digital, please.
Oh, anything and everything. But hey, gaming dads, anyone else out there holding strong on the V-Bucks thing
We
or
want to meet
Robux?
you.
Yes. We want to know your story. Or have you used it similarly for, a carrot in these type of situations? Right in at New Dad Gaming, newdadgaming.com. Now, something you had gotten into recently was the Arcane show, which does look awesome. Like, I absolutely adore the artwork. Haven't had a chance yet, but was curious this kind of new approach to video game TV adaptation, and also for something that I don't think you've ever actually played.
No, I have never played League of Legends. Ever. I know it's popular. I have not played it.
Mm,
I don't know. I never really got into it. But Arcane, the TV show, obviously based off League of Legends in some form. I don't know the entire story behind it. But I was talking to another gaming dad, and he's like, not Trevor, some other gaming dad that was like, hey, I've been watching Arcane with my daughter.
mm,
Have you seen it yet? It's like freaking amazing. And I'm like, I haven't. I always see it on like the Netflix homepage and I just scroll past. I'm
mhm,
like, it looks good, but like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot. So I get my 14-year-old and we burn through
mhm,
both seasons. And it is a fantastic
mm,
show, and you don't need to know anything about League of Legends. It introduces you into this like slice of the world.
mm,
These characters are so well done. The story arcs through all of them are different and varied. The animation to this show, and I think you kind of touched on it, is just spectacular. It's like concept art
mm.
coming to life. And I think every episode costs them like a few million to make. So it's an
Wow.
expensive one, but it is totally just like artistic beauty. Like I will like rewatch this thing, I think, because I'm picking up on all the little details. Like it's not so surface level. There's a lot hidden along the way, which is kind of cool
Mm,
that my 14-year-old and I kind of like dive into the lore of it. Um, but what's funny is that even at the end of the show, and we were both like, wow, that was amazing. And there was like highs and lows and sad parts and whatever.
mm.
I looked at my 14-year-old and I'm like, do you want to download League of Legends? And and immediately like, nah. And I'm like, okay, nah. Which I think goes to their research is like this was a very successful show and it was talked
Mm.
about, won a ton of awards, but it did not convert people into gaming
Oh,
for with League of
interesting.
Legends. It just didn't transfer. And I don't think it's any fault of the show. It's just like, yeah, I love it for what it is, but I don't want to go over there necessarily. So
yeah, you'd have to think it's largely because of the type of game. It's a very specific. It's massively popular. I know people
yeah,
like
yeah.
I tongue in cheek have on the video recording of this have League of Legends bad game good TV, which
Okay.
is it is to be. Yeah, I'm being cheeky about it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
people adore it. Like if you've ever seen the outdoor arena when they have or the indoor arena when they have the world championships, like
Yes.
it is mental. Like it
Yeah,
is so cool.
yeah.
All right, but as far as a approachable game that you can play to blow off some steam, this ain't it. Like it is
No.
you have to study, you have to practice, like it is very deep. So it's not too surprising that it wouldn't have if let's say, and I've heard talk before that they'd wanted to create a first person shooter based
Oh,
in this
yes.
world or
Yeah.
very like various other type of titles, even like a Prince of Persia style thing,
Right.
right? For me, that seems like a better in.
I
Even
could
like I'll
totally
say
see
this
that. Yeah.
as a Magic the Gathering guy back in the day, like I messed with Legends of Runeterra,
Okay.
which is a card game based. It's a card battler based in this world. Gorgeous, amazing animations, kind of a fun gameplay loop. Didn't kind of get its hooks into me necessarily, but you can see like I would more imagine this is going to be better if they start to come out now with those other game projects because the main one that's a hard sell. That's a hard
Yeah.
sell.
Right? Like, again, it's just not my type of game. I don't think I have the time or the patience to necessarily learn to get into it. My 14-year-old maybe along the way, but again, it was just one of those things where it's like we are so taken aback by this world, and they do mention Runeterra, and I assume that that was the world that's kind of based in.
Mhm.
Learned a lot about the characters, and like in fact, they're in the game and whatever. It's just it didn't turn the key. We're like, it was great. We could totally rewatch this. Not necessarily downloading that game right now.
If one of our kids ends up taking it, I'd be very curious. You and I would struggle.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't want to speak on your behalf, but I
No, I
feel
would.
fairly confident. I think we would struggle mightily in
Yeah.
understanding how the heck to play this damn game. I'd be
Right.
curious to see our kids take it up and see how fast it'd be. Almost, I feel like it'd be upsetting to see how fast they get it
I
and they get
can't.
good at it.
Okay, I kind of want to do that as like a gaming challenge to my 14-year-old, just to
Oh,
see
that'd be
because
pretty good.
he's so good with like statistics and math, and again, he's playing Balatro and figuring it all out and just
Mhm.
running the thing. I think this is more about min and maxing like certain strategies and stuff. I totally think he could take off with it. I
Okay,
just want
buddy.
to see.
Listen. Okay, listen. You have a one in a lifetime opportunity. It's like, okay, we next you choose a weekend or sometime
Right.
when you have a bit of time, and this is going to be good for the show.
Okay, I'm in.
It's like, all right, we here's the bet. Like we're gonna put $5 in, $5 in.
Yes. Yeah.
We're gonna put $5 of the V-Bucks on the table.
Yeah.
We will both spend, and we got to be honest about this. We're gonna spend 4 hours learning and practice, or you pick a time, 8 hours, like one day, whatever
Yeah.
you want. But you have to
Okay.
say hours because otherwise they'll smoke you because they'll have time to stay awake and do okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like, okay, we're going to take like 4 to 6 hours to learn and practice this game, and then we're going to battle, and we're going to see who's better.
Yeah.
Is that your
Yeah.
only? It's the only chance. This might be the only chance you ever have to be better at them at this game. Like that's the important thing, right?
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah. You got to break him a little bit. So, yeah, no, I'm in on that. That'd be
Just
great.
like it still feels against you. It almost feels like you should double your time. Because
I
like they do
probably
other,
should at least like,
it's less fun. It's less fun. Okay, I'll put it this way. So do 6 and 6, and
okay.
then battle. And if they beat you badly,
Right.
you get to do another 6,
Okay.
and then you battle again. But
Yeah.
they can't. They're not allowed. So
No,
you get an additional 6 if you lose the first time, and you see if you can overcome it, plus the learnings that you had from the first matches.
this sounds like a great idea.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I don't know if do you play League of Legends? It's not through Steam, right? Because I was about to say, I'm like, oh yeah, this is where Family Controls comes in, and I just turn it off. Um,
Is it
I don't
ever?
think it does. I think it has its own launcher and stuff. But
How do you
yeah,
play?
no, this is a great idea.
How
I'm
do
glad
you
we came
play?
to this.
Yeah, I think it might be. Hold on. I'm googling something here quickly.
I think I should get more hours
It's
because I
Yeah, it's Riot.
Because
So
I'm
yeah,
on
you
the
gotta
Steam Deck. I'm on the Steam Deck. That is like okay,
mm,
like you know what I mean?
get
Like
a
I
mouse and
don't.
keyboard. You can't. You gotta get a mouse keyboard. You can't do.
You're supposed to be on my side. You're supposed to be like, yeah, totally. You should double your time. That's not a problem.
Yeah. So this is Riot. So yeah, it's funny. It's an entirely separate company. So League of Legends, Valorant, which that's
Yeah.
huge. Teamfight Tactics, not as familiar. I've heard of it, not familiar with it. Legendary Terra, I've played it. It's great, but just again didn't have the hooks in. Very generous as far as if somebody likes Magic, but they want slightly simpler and to be given more for free. Legends of Runeterra is very generous.
Okay.
Constant stuff coming your way. LOL, Wild Rift, never heard
Don't
of it.
know that.
Anyway, but that doesn't mean much. What I
Okay.
know, don't know. That's not a good barometer. So
Yeah.
see,
I'm
challenge
down.
accepted. That
Yeah.
would be hilarious. I'd love to see. You got to get like recordings. You got to get clips. You got to get reactions. That'd be so
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna get totally wrecked, but like again for the show, I'm in.
All for the show.
Yeah.
Last one. Hey, gaming dads, you ever gone head to head new game with your kids? Specifically, are you a League of Legends player? Is your kid a League of Legends player? And do they embarrass you? Write in New Dad Gaming at New Dad Gaming. Last one, real quick to wrap up for the day. Days Gone apparently received a remaster, and at first I wasn't. You had wrote to me saying why, and I was worried that was because it was a critique on the game, which, as best I understand it, is actually critically misaligned. Like it should really be. It's apparently it's an amazing game that did not strike fire like it should have, despite how good it was.
Yeah.
But you're in that same vein. But it's more explain your why for the remake or the remaster of Days Gone.
Yeah, again, this was a great game. I think it just fell under the radar a lot when it launched. The why was it looks so good as is. Like it already runs beautifully. I think even on like it has launched on PC, so it runs, awesome. Like I'm not sure what else you can put into it. So they're remastering it, which is like saying, "Hey, take this great game and we'll just like bump up the resolution slightly." Do you know what I mean? Like there's not much
Yeah,
more you can do to it with the
I don't know.
state that it is.
I don't know. I don't think it's probably coming off on the stream, the live stream as we're watching it. But like on my monitor, like this looks stunning. Like this is
Yeah,
amazing. Like what are you gonna do?
right. And it's got like hordes of zombies, and like that was the selling point is that they could
Mm,
have 200-300 zombies on screen at once and it wouldn't chug, right? This thing would just fly. And it
mm.
absolutely does. So I'm not sure why the remaster, right? It's not totally remaking it, but they're just it's just a game that didn't need it. So my why was like, no, it's good as is. It's a fun game. And now that we, had mentioned it, it does have a motorcycle. It does have long winding roads through national parks.
Oh
Like
man,
this is a Trevor game. This is
this upsets me so much. I got it. That's what, as before we're talking here, I'm like, I should probably check all my accounts just in case I
yeah,
accidentally own it somewhere.
you
Because
probably
I would
do.
except okay, sorry, hold on. Part of this whole year thing was no, that falls within the purview. The idea was like to finish games that, in my view, is a bit more like finish games that we've started, or at least like
Oh,
I just start. And for me, my problem with this is like I have until this moment have not had any desire to play this game.
okay.
Not because it's bad, but just because it's never really crossed my radar. So my
Right.
challenge, my problem would be with the challenge as we're doing it, is that's a brand new game into the queue as opposed to finishing No Man's Sky for the first time or playing Fallout 4 or
Right.
or Fallout 3 New Vegas, like something I have thought about playing before. You know what I mean? So
I think you're
I don't think I can get this in this year. A, probably I don't own it. B, I got other stuff to do, man.
yeah, like I would say like if you already own it, you're like, no, you can load it up and just toot around in it. That's fine.
Mm.
I'm rotating through 3 or 4 games, just like, it's like ice cream. It's just like the flavor I want tonight is not chocolate. So it's whatever. So if you don't own it, yeah, it's a little bit of a stretch, but this is totally a you game. Like just in that again, motorcycles, you fix up, you tune the bike, you add stuff to it, you do have fuel and it breaks down and blah blah blah, right? You have to do that while zombies are about to chase you. So like there is some tension to it, but it's fun. It's a fun
Oh
game
man.
and it runs pretty smoothly on anything you throw at it. So I don't know, one day.
One day. 2000. It's almost like we need to keep a separate list. It's like, all right, here's what I'm going to try to.
What if we
complete
did
this
that?
year. And then another
as-
like, well, here's everything for 2026. Let's go. The want to plays.
Well, if we put this forward again, I don't want to extend the show too much, but we're already putting like League of Legends wasn't on my backlog, and we're kind of doing it for the show.
Oh, that is.
So
Hold. Yeah, that one's.
if we make
Sorry,
space
I will
for
bend.
like
I will bend the rules because
recommendations,
that's. No. So no. Yours specifically, like that's hilarious, and I know you're not going to sit there. No, because that's just damn
Okay.
funny and it's good
Yeah.
content.
Yeah,
And you're not going to. I highly doubt. I should say.
probably not going.
I don't think you're going to pour like 200 hours in. So that doesn't
Probably
count.
not.
That's an
Okay.
experience that's funny.
Okay.
Days Gone. That's not the point. So I'll put that onto a list for next year.
Okay.
Appreciate you trying. It's good, and that's how we started the show though, because it was discussion with a fellow gaming dad. It's like, oh, you should totally get the Steam Deck. It's very good.
Yeah,
See, we're supporting one another.
that's
It's all
right.
about
There you go.
helping each other out, seeing where we get to. We'll wrap up there for the week, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you like the show, you can subscribe to us on all the major podcasting networks. So iTunes, Spotify, Caster, anywhere where you find your podcast, just look for New Dad Gaming. If you did like the show, what really helps out is a subscription, as I said, or leaving a rating and a comment. Helps blow us out to other gaming dads so we can figure out all the best VBuck / Valorant / League of Legends tips from fellow gaming dads. Love to hear it. So obviously sharing us on social media helps greatly. Try to get it to as many gaming dads as possible. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 14-year-old that I'm going to challenge in League of Legends,
Gonna get 'em.
and a 11-year-old.
Yeah. Oh man, I cannot wait to hear the stories.
Yeah, it'll be good.
And just look, Jeff's no good at games, but that doesn't stop him. Because remember, just because you became a dad
Does not mean it's game over.
a little bit of shade followed by this slogan.
Little build me up. I like it.
All right, everybody. See you next week.
See you later.